Okay, I want to believe that we are live now. Good evening, everybody. This is your Queen Teefah. It's not moving with Queen Teefah this night. It's Human Affairs with Queen Teefah. And like I introduced, this is the newest addition to our content, which we said we were going to be exploring human relationships, specifically dilemma situations. It doesn't matter what kind of relationship we are dealing with, as long as we are talking about human affairs, we are here. So basically what we're going to be doing, again, like we said, we are not reinventing the wheel. We said basically what we're going to be doing is, if you share your dilemma situation with us, we will start by giving our 2 cents, and then we will throw it open for other people to lend their 2 cents as well. So we got our first dilemma situation, and we are going, live with this situation. I have listened to it once, but we are going to listen together. So she sent me the voice notes, of course anonymously. I don't know her. She sent it to our Agony Ants line, which we shared yesterday, and we extracted from there. But like I said, we are going to be deleting as soon as we are done presenting her situation. So she sent in Yoruba. She sent in a batch of 5. We will listen. When we listen to one, I will explain for broader audience. I will explain for those that do not understand Yoruba. And then at the end of it, I will give my 2 cents. So let me make sure the volume is the loudest so that you can follow along with me. So this is the first of the 5.
Mo understanding yín máa ṣe mo dúpẹ́ gan. Ṣẹ́rí, èmi tí mo ní mi lè fi àwọn ọmọ mi lẹ̀ fẹ́ ọkùnrin mi tí tèmi yé mi. Torí bí mo ṣe wà yìí, bó ṣe wù mí, kò wù mí gan, kémi gan bímọ mọ́, kò dẹ̀ wù mí kí n má rì mọ́. Wàláì tàláì sí mọ́ bí láìláì láwà. Wàláì kò wù mí kí n wá má rì mọ́. Torí mi ì fẹ́ jókòó sábẹ́ ọkùnrin kan tí màá tún máa jẹ ìyà mọ́. Ọ̀rọ̀ tí mo sọ yìí, ó ti pọ̀ jù fún mi. Orí ọmọ yìí náà ni tí mo fi jẹ ìyà kí n ṣe kékeré. Àwọn bàbá àwọn ọmọ mi, Ọlọ́run tó pín wa níyà tí ò jẹ́ kí n kú sọ́wọ́ rẹ̀. Nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ nìyẹn. Wàláì tàláì, ṣẹ́rí, kò wù mí kí n lè má rì mọ́ Ọlọ́run. Àmọ́ nǹkan tó wá ṣẹlẹ̀ tó fi dàbí wípé mo fẹ́ rí màrí, òun ni pé àwọn fámílì ni wọ́n ń disturb mi, wọn ò jẹ́ kí n gbádùn wọn rẹ̀ sí i. Débi wípé dáàdì mi sọ fún mi ẹni tí bá ti mọ̀ wípé mi ì rí màrí kí n kúrò nílùú fóun. Òun ò lè máa wò mí báyìí kí n má lọ́kọ. Kóun máa rí mi kò lè dùn mọ́ àwọn nínú láyéláyé. Nǹkan tó fi dàbẹ́ ni wípé mo fẹ́ yọ̀ǹda ara mi ni. July ló máa pé 1 year tí mo ti kó padà wá sí Ìlọrin bí báyìí. Even at Kogi State ni mo wà. July 20 náà dẹ̀ ló máa pé 2 years tèmi àtọkọ mi ti pínyà. Ṣẹ́rí, kò wù mí mọ́ kí n lè má rí o. Wàláì kò wù mí torí mo wò ó. Ṣé bá rí màrí, mi ì lè rí ibi tọ́jú àwọn ọmọ mi mọ́. Àwọn ọmọ mi ò lè wà comfortable. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni, mi ì fọ̀rọ̀ ọmọ ṣeré, mi ti fa àwọn ọmọ mi ṣeré rárá. Mi ì ní ṣe bó ṣe yẹ kí n máa ṣe sí wọn. bí mo ṣe ń ṣe sí wọn tẹ́lẹ̀ ni mi ní lè ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ sí wọn mọ́. Kó tó ṣẹlẹ̀ gangan sí mi nìyẹn tí mo sọ pé mi rè má rí. Gbogbo nǹkan wọ̀nyẹn ni mò ń rò. Kọ́lọ́mọ jẹ́ kí èèyàn kúdọ̀ ọmọ ọ̀nà. Ṣẹ́rí.
Okay. So, oh, okay. She's still going on.
But ṣẹ́rí. Èèyàn bí many èèyàn tó bá níyìn tí mo ti dé lọ́rin kí n lè má rí àbí kí n tó tiẹ̀ dé lọ́rin má ti lè má rí mi wàhálà ìmọ̀ àti lè má rí àwọn èèyàn ńláńlá èèyàn jàǹkànjàǹkàn lóríṣiríṣi bẹ́ẹ̀ but kò wù mí kí n lè má rí mọ́ kó tó ṣẹlẹ̀ nìyẹn kíláàsì ló jẹ́ fún mi tí mo fi sọ wípé tó èyí tẹ́ bá rí tó bá wà comfortable fún mi wàhálà.
Okay, so this is the first of 5. It's not too long. And she starts straight off with a dilemma situation. So the sender apparently has been a victim of some form of domestic abuse, domestic violence. She has had children in that relationship, and she's out of the relationship presently. However, good evening. However, her family members are not allowing her to be by herself. She has had a very, very bad experience in the marriage she's coming out from. But according to their culture, custom, tradition, she's expected to be under the roof of a man, and her family members are giving her a lot of grief about this. So basically, that's how she started. She started with the dilemma situation itself. She does not want to marry, but her family members are insisting, that she needs to be under the roof of a man, to be respected in the society and all of that. So let's move to the second audio she sent to explain her situation better, why she does not want to be married, but she's in a dilemma situation where her father specifically, they are giving her a lot of grief regarding this. So this is the second one.
Meanwhile, gẹ́gẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe mọ Ìlọrin pé àwa Ìlọrin àwọn òbí wa wọn kì í gbà ká fẹ́ Christian. Bẹ́ẹ̀ wá ní Christian ni mọ́mì mi. Mọ́mì wá jẹ́ ọmọ Kogi State.
So at this point, even though I would have preferred she didn't share her location, but I guess maybe she's comfortable sharing that. She said she's from Ilorin, and where she comes from, Ilorin is, I believe, a north central state in Nigeria. And she said where she comes from, even though Muslims are not, really allowed or encouraged to marry Christians, her father, who is a Muslim, married her mother, who is a Christian, from another state. Let's continue.
Lóòótọ́ mi mọ Kogi State rí o. Mo sá mọ̀ pé ọmọ Kogi State ni mọ́ ìlú. So, mo wá ìgbà tí dádì mọ́ ìmí kú ní Kogi State ni tí gbogbo wa lọ. Nìkan náà mo mọ̀ wípé mo mọ Kogi State láti ìgbà yẹn mi. So, ilẹ̀ Haúsá mo ti wá lọ school. Ilẹ̀ Haúsá mo ti lọ school. Kogi Poly, ibẹ̀ ni mo ti lọ sí high institution. Kogi yẹn true ìyẹn ni mo fi mọ̀. Tèmi àti ẹ̀ fi pàdé, ká fi mọ́ra wa. Ìgbà tí mo sọ yìí tèmi àti ẹ̀ tiẹ̀ mọ́ra wa yìí gan-an. Èmi ò mọ̀ pé ṣé mo girlfriend and boyfriend èèyàn lè mọ̀ bóyá Christian ni bóyá Muslim tẹ̀ mọ̀ téèyàn ti wọ ọwọ́ ara èèyàn lè ronú yẹn lọ títí lọ. Ká má fọ̀rọ̀ gùn tèmi àti ẹ̀ fi mọ ara wa nìyẹn. Ká fi mọ ara wa nìyẹn ká fi pàdé. Bá ṣe jọ ń rìn nìyẹn. Mi tiẹ̀ wá mọ̀ di WhatsApp, mi tiẹ̀ wá mọ̀ pé kò tiẹ̀ kàwé. Kò lè kà, kò lè kọ, iṣẹ́ oko ló ń ṣe. But tẹ́ bá rí ẹ máa wò bí èèyàn kan tó wà educated. But èmi ò mọ̀, kò yé mi. àṣejọ ọ̀rìn nìyẹn o tí oyún fi dé láàrin mi àti ẹ̀.
Okay, so at this point, let me pause the second clip, even though it's not over. So she's explaining further that she's schooled in the north, and when she was in the north, she met this Christian guy, and they started dating. So they were just doing boyfriend, girlfriend, boyfriend, girlfriend. She doesn't know much about him yet, but they were just in a relationship.
Mo bá lóyún first born mi. Bí dáàdi mi ṣe kọ̀ mí lọ́mọ náà.
Okay, this is getting interesting. Shortly after she met, the husband she was in an abusive relationship with, she conceived with her first child, and her father disowned her. Because again, don't forget where she comes from. Even though the father himself married a Christian, they are not really allowed or encouraged to marry Christian. And then not just dating a Christian, she actually got pregnant before wedlock, which people from Nigeria know that this is hugely frowned upon, especially more so for, the people from the north, not just the north,
Wípé mo ti ṣe mistake, mo lọ lóyún fún Christian lásán. Dáàdi mi láwọn kọ́ mi lọ́mọ, good 10 years. Kò sójú anybody tí mo rí lẹ̀ nínú gbogbo family mi. Mo dá wà, without nothing. Ṣé rí nǹkan tójú mi rí, ẹnu mi ò lè sọ tán. Ojú mi rí kì í ṣe kékeré. Mo lóyún o, oyún tí mo ní yìí náà, èmi yìí náà ni mo láti òkè délẹ̀ gbogbo nǹkan tó ń pè lẹ́rù ọmọ, èmi yìí náà ni mo rà. Influence ni wípé mo ní opportunity, Ọlọ́run fún mi ní ẹ̀bùn, mo mọ irun dì, màmá tójú bọ́lé, màmá dì wọn káàkiri. Àjọ tí n bá dá òní mò ń gbà tí mo fi ra ẹrù ọmọ, tí mo fi rà pamọ́, títí tí mo fi bímọ ọkọ mi sọ wípé tó owó ni. Kò síbi tí mo wà yìí ò pọ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀dá ẹ̀ wà ń bí.
Okay, so far, she has conceived, she's pregnant, she's been disowned by her family, and she said this disownment went on for 10 good years, that for 10 good years, no member of her family wanted to deal with her because they interpreted it as she has brought shame into the family. Not just engaging in premarital affairs, but then engaging with a Christian to the point where she got pregnant. But that appears not to be the worst thing that happened to her, because apparently the person she conceived for, or she conceived with, is highly irresponsible. She says from the first day of the pregnancy to the very last day, she suffered. She said there's no amount of word that can describe how much she suffered with this man. She even went on to swear that even though the man is not in her presence, God sees that she went through so much in the hand of this man. She said he was so poor that she goes from house to house because she knows how to make hair. So she goes from house to house asking if they want to make hair. If they want to make hair, she will make hair for them. They will give her a token, and that's how she was able to get the few things for the baby's clothing and all of that. So in short, she's having it very, very rough, very rough. No help from family at all. For 10 good years, she was disowned by her family. Let's move to the third one. It's 5 altogether. So at this point, she has been able to establish that her journey has been very, very rough so far. So this is the third one.
July 20 ọdún yìí ló máa pọ́dún kan tó kọ mi kó jáde kúrò ní ilé fúnra rẹ̀.
Okay. So this July makes it exactly 1 year that the man abandoned her to herself. This coming July is going to make it 1 year that he just, left her with the children. Let's keep going.
Nothing. Mi lè sọ pé nǹkan báyìí ló ṣe. The husband mo tún lọ bá ibi mítọ́ tí máa ń ṣe mítìnì ọmọ ìlú wọn. Mo bẹ̀ wọ́n kó bá mi bẹ̀ kó padà jẹ́ ká padà sí ọwọ́ ara wa torí kí ló fà tí mo fi ní kó máa bá mi bẹ̀ ojú wípé ìtìjú pé mo ti ara ẹ̀ kọsẹ̀ sí àwọn òbí mi mo ti ara ẹ̀ kọsẹ̀ sí àwọn tó jẹ́ fámílì mi, àwọn tó sọ wípé má fẹ́ wọn kì í fẹ́ wọn lé wọn pé ẹrú ni wọ́n. Ó tì mí lójú tí n bá wá fira wálẹ̀ tí mo wá dá wà láì ní gbogbo kinní wọ̀nyẹn mo rò. Mo wá wò pé tó àwọn ọmọ mi ì fẹ́ káwọn ọmọ mi ì fẹ́ kí n má ládé orí, mi ì fẹ́ kọ́ta yọ̀ mí, gbogbo kinní wọ̀nyẹn mú tìjú bá mi. Gbogbo kinní wọ̀nyẹn ló mú mi bẹ́ẹ̀ pé kí gbogbo kinní wọ̀nyẹn sá lọ ká settle, but gbogbo ẹ̀ jùlọ bàbá ló bọ́ sí.
Okay, so let me pause again at this junction. So she said even after the man left her and abandoned her with their children, she still tried to make amends. It's not like he's useful or he's responsible, but because the shame of having been abandoned by her family, and according to her family said the family where that man comes from is low caste, kind of, low level, shameful family. So she has lost her family. She didn't want to leave the man. She didn't want to lose the marriage again. So it's not that the man is responsible or loving or taking good care of her or taking good care of the children, but just because she didn't want to be a single parent, she didn't want to become mother and father to her children, she didn't want to be described like somebody that, her relationship failed. She still made many moves to have him come back to the house. But everything she did, nothing worked. Let's keep going.
Àmọ́ mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run ní èmi. Ní Kogi State níbi tí mo sọ yìí o, mo ní ilé o. Mo ní ilé tí mo ti kọ́ dé window level. Bẹ́ẹ̀ dẹ̀ ni mo ní oríṣi ilẹ̀ 3. Ìkan nínú 3 yìí mo ti bu church tí mò ń lọ torí mò ń tẹ̀lé lọ church. Ìgbà tó fi rí pé ó kọ̀ mí sílẹ̀ náà ni mo change church. So church tí mo wá ń lọ, mo bù wọ́n nílẹ̀ kan, okùnlẹ̀ 2 àti ilé tí mi ti parí.
Okay, so I'm going to pause again. So she's trying to explain that despite the fact that this man has not been available, he has not been there for her, God has kind of been, gracious and kind to her, to the point where she has one house she's currently building. So after she came together with the man, she became a Christian, but when the man left her, she changed her church. But she said she even still, gave a plot of land to the church that she's currently going. So I guess she's saying all of this for us to realize that she's not looking for a man because she needs money. She's quite comfortable to the point where she's building her own house. She has another land, and she was able to gift her church another land. So it's not because she's looking for someone to take care of her financially that brings up this dilemma of having to get into another relationship. Is just for the mere purpose that her family, especially her father, who just came back into her life, is saying, no, that's not possible. You cannot be by yourself. So I hope we are getting a clear understanding of her situation. So she's not wretched, she's not poor, she's not desperate, but it just so happens that her family members are insisting she's got to be under a man's roof, if she wants them to be in their life. So for this clip, she's still explaining that she's comfortable, she's blessed if it's, comes to sustaining herself and her children. Let's keep listening.
Advise àǹtí mi ẹni tí wọ́n bí lé mi ló advise mi pé ọmọ yìí ṣé ò ní para ẹ̀ ṣé ò ní kú ikú ọkọ báyìí pé kí n darí wálé n tó mú mi darí padà wá sílùú wa ní tí mo dèrò Ìlọrin tó fi di wípé torí pé mo ti ń pẹ́ jù báyìí gbogbo wọn ti ń yọ ẹnu sí mi pé kí n rè márì tí mo ní mi rè márì torí kí ni mo ṣe wáyé mi ì ní lọ́kàn àti bímọ mọ́ torí mi ì fẹ́ ọkùnrin kankan mọ́ nínú ayé mi tó máa fi mí ṣẹ̀sín mọ́ tí màá máa ṣe sòsòsòsòsò lábẹ́ tí mi ní gbádùn máa gbọ̀n mi gbọ́dọ̀ sọ one mi gbọ́dọ̀ sọ pé ọkọ mi ò pẹ́ kó tó dé mi gbọ́dọ̀ sọ pé ò lè sanwó school kò gbọ́dọ̀ sọ pé nǹkan báyìí kò gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe nǹkan báyìí kì í sọ wípé n tó ṣe yìí ò dáa. Try to understand me o ọkùnrin tí ò kà tí ò lè kọ illiterate ẹ mọ bó ṣe máa ṣe nínú ilé ẹ̀yin bá ṣe máa ṣe síra wa ní gbọ́dọ̀ complain pé nǹkan tó ṣe yìí ò dáa nínú gbígbí ṣe lánà mi bí kí n kú kí n má kú ṣé rí èyí tí mo sẹ́ndì sí yín ó kéré nínú àwọn èyí tó ti ṣẹlẹ̀ sẹ́yìn ẹ bá rí ojú mi bí mo ṣe wà yìí ẹ máa rò bí bóyá bọ́ọ̀nù ni kì í ṣe bọ́ọ̀nù ojú nínà ni wọ́n ti rẹ́kọ́mẹ́ndì space glasses fún mi rí tó jẹ́ pé mo ti lò sún mi àìmọye bẹ́ẹ̀ mo ti lo gíláàsì sẹ́yìn láìmọye gbà ó máa nà mí bí kí n kú kí n má kú ni. tó àmọ́ mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ náà tó bá jẹ́ mi ìléyàn mi ní ẹ̀bí ni màá ti kú torí kí ni ó ṣe bẹ̀bẹ̀ fún mi ó ṣe mẹ́wàá fún mi gbogbo nǹkan tó mú mi sọ pé mi rí má rí mọ́ nìyẹn pé mi fẹ́ lọ́kọ mọ́ pé mo fẹ́ dá wà mo fẹ́ rí ibi tọ́jú àwọn ọmọ mi torí àwọn ọmọ yìí mo ṣe jẹ gbogbo ẹ̀gbin gbogbo ìyà tó yìí torí ọmọ yìí náà ni ó ti tó mi gẹ́lẹ́ tí mo fi sọ wípé tó ó bá hápù pé tí n bá rí ètò lè accept mi pẹ̀lú àwọn ọmọ mi torí kí ni ní fún àwọn ọmọ mi lẹ́ o àwọn ọmọ mi ní ọ̀la mi they are my night they are my everything in life so kò sí nǹkan tó lè yẹ èmi àtàwọn ọmọ mi o n tó bá ti lè mú tọkùnrin kan bá ti lè dúró pé òun ò lè fẹ́ mi àtàwọn ọmọ mi síkè náà oníkálukú sòwò tiẹ̀ lọ́tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ nípa àwọn ọmọ mi ní ìṣòro mi o they are my problem as I dey like this they are my night they are my everything bí mo ṣe wà yìí mo ní bísínẹ́sì tí mò ń ṣe o mo ń taṣọ mo ń ta bàtà bẹ́ẹ̀ ni kò sí nǹkan wá dọ́wọ́ mi mo ṣe wà yìí tẹ̀lé rí lọ́wọ́ mi torí kí ni mo máa ń báyàn fọṣọ torí mi fẹ́ wọ́wọ́ ọkùnrin kí n tó fìdá àwọn ọmọ mi kí n tó ṣe nǹkan kí n tó sanwó sukú àwọn ọmọ mi torí I pray to God kọ́lọ́n kó fún mi ní oore ọ̀fẹ́ mo dẹ̀ ti gbàdúrà mo dẹ̀ nígbàgbọ́ nínú Ọlọ́run pé Ọlọ́run á fún mi lórí ọ̀fẹ́ láti tọ́ àwọn ọmọ wọn dé ibi tí wọ́n bá fẹ́ kọ́ ẹ̀kọ́ wọn dé inshallah.
Okay, so in the third note, she goes further to explain everything she went through while she was with her ex. We'll call him ex because she's not with him right now, and she doesn't plan on going back to him. She mentioned of how she dare not, when she was with him, she dare not complain, oh, why did you come back late? She dare not ask, when are you going to, how are you going to assist with the children school fees? She just didn't, she didn't have the opportunity to be fulfilled in that relationship. So most of what she was saying was describing everything she went through, how it would beat her, how she has burns, marks on her face from beating, injury and all of that. So it was rough. The description is very rough. I can't be too graphic, but the description is really, really rough. So she said after the man left the house, she fell into a lot of despair, depression, and she was thinking, she was sad. And that was when her sister advised her, don't die in depression, come back home so that at least the family can nurture you and stuff like that. So that was why she came back home, after the man left her in the house. But unfortunately, on getting back home, the family, the parents are saying, okay, she has been hanging solo for too long, and it's time she, got a man, because in that environment, they don't believe there's respect for a woman that is not under a man, no matter how successful she is. They don't believe, there's any respect for her. So we've gotten the bigger part of her gist, but I don't want to stifle her. Let's listen to everything she has to say. But we've gotten the gist. The core of the gist is that she's just coming out of an abusive relationship, a domestic violence situation, domestic abuse situation. She would rather want to pull herself together and face her children, but her family is not giving her that option. They are giving her the option of abandonment again if she does not get herself a man. So she is saying her further dilemma is that she cannot joke with her children. That 10 years of suffering with that man is because of these children, just for these children to have a father. I hope you are following her and you are getting her points. So as we give our 2 cents, please let us refrain from passing judgments. Don't forget our experiences are informed by so many things, not just our worldview, not just our culture, so many things. So as we will be giving our 2 cents, please let us refrain from passing any judgment or disrespectful word and all of that. So let's continue to listen. So this is second to the last.
Ẹlòmíì wá ń bá mi dúró síbẹ̀ mo wá jáde sí títì Federal Road mo ṣe jáde sí ibẹ̀ nìyẹn mo wá ń dá àwọn mọ́tò táǹkà mo wá ń dá wọn dúró mo wá ń já epo lọ́wọ́ wọn diesel petrol oil àwọn sí oil kankan ogún sí ní ọ̀rẹ́ ń bí báyìí bẹ̀ ni mo ti máa wá ra oil àwọn sí oil 4 litre 5 litres 1 litre wọ̀nyẹn oríṣiríṣi òní mò ń tà.
So in all of this, she's just trying to explain how she hustled to be where she is financially. She's actually financially comfortable. She's selling oil, diesel, and all of that. Meanwhile, I forgot to add in all of this, this man is not even educated at all. He's not educated at all. But she said she wasn't even aware of that because it wasn't long after they started dating that she got pregnant for him while she was in the Polytechnic.
Kò mọ bá ṣe ń jẹ tàárọ̀ kò mọ bá tó ń jẹ tọ̀sán but talẹ́ tó bá dé látòkò ó máa mú kalẹ̀ níjọ́ tó bá ní but ìjọ́ tí ò bá ní èmi yìí náà ni màá mú kalẹ̀ tó bá hápù pé iṣu ló ní tó mú dé látòkò a ní ṣé kò ń fi gúnyán wa yóò fi gúnyán láti ilé á gbé sí kúlà á gbé wá bá mi á sọ fún mi pé kí n sè ọbẹ̀ má sè ọbẹ̀ kó tó dé á wá bá mi ṣọ́ọ̀gì ibẹ̀ lọ́lọ́run ti gbà fún mi o. Ìgbà tó wá yá lọ wá gbógun yìí dìde sí mi màmá ẹ̀ ní mò ń lórí ọkọ mi pé mi ń jẹ́ kí ó rọ́wọ́ mú gbogbo iṣẹ́ tó ń ṣe mí ló ń kó fún ẹjọ́ ẹni tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ oko tó sì jẹ́ pé mi náà ni mò ń raṣọ sí lọ́rùn tí n bá parọ́ mọ́kọ mi kẹ́lẹ́dàá ẹ̀ kó fi ìyà jẹ mí kò sí bí o àmọ́ ẹlẹ́dàá ẹ̀ wà ń bí ọkọ mi kò mọ bí mo ṣe ń sanwó school àkọ́bí wa báyìí ó wà lẹ́sẹ̀2 báyìí private school dẹ̀ làwọn ọmọ mi lọ from the beginning ṣebí ẹni tó bá àbíbò ní wọn ti ẹni tí ò bá lè sanwó private school tó bá lówó public school ṣebí ó yẹ kó lè san at least tó bá ní ó yẹ kó lè help ọkọ mi á máa dá lẹ́nìí dá lọ́la tí màá fi sanwó school àwọn ọmọ mi ní kí ẹ̀ èmi ò dẹ̀ lè kọ́ àwọn ọmọ sí public school tèmi tí bá lọ bá mọ́mì àti mo ṣàlàyé fún the last one tí mo sọ fún.
Okay, so let me pause at this junction again. I didn't even hear this part before. So it turns out she's not just dealing with a violent and abusive husband. She's also dealing with a very, very problematic mother-in-law. So because this man is not educated, he's a farmer, and it doesn't look like he's doing well in his farm, the ex-mother-in-law is accusing her again of using, is it witchcraft or voodoo, like using voodoo witchcraft. That is, she's collecting all the how do you even interpret this to audience that do not understand this concept. So apparently the ex-mother-in-law is forcing with her that she's collecting the man's wealth, that instead of the man to be wealthy, she used voodoo to collect his wealth. So meanwhile, she's just a hustler from what she said. She does everything. She sells oil, she sells baby products. She's into everything. She even washes clothes for people. So she's a hustler, She works really, really hard to be able to take care of her children. Her children are in private school because she can't afford to keep them in public school because she wants them to have good education. And then the mother-in-law, the ex-mother-in-law is forcing. So in addition to dealing with abandonment from her family for marrying beneath her status, marrying a Christian, getting pregnant before, completing her education, the man she's involved with is, beating up on her, is being violent, not loving, not caring, not being a husband to her, not being a father to the children. And then the mother of the woman is giving her problem as well, accusing her of using witchcraft to be collecting the man's destiny. My people will understand this very well. It's not a funny situation at all. And then at the end of the day, not just that the man finally left her. She didn't leave him. The man left her. She went back to family for solace. And now family is telling her that, they are telling her again that she has to find someone. She has to make move, find someone, because as far as they are concerned, there's no space for single mother in their family. So in all of this, she's explaining everything she went through in the man's house. Even the ex-mother-in-law said, why should she be expecting the man to pay their school fees when she pulled her children out of public school and put them in private school? So no way that her son is going to be responsible. If she's going to put her children in private school, then she has to be responsible for, the school fees and all of that.
Gbogbo ẹ̀gẹ́ tọkọ mi bá ní ọkọ mi á wá gbé ẹ̀gẹ́ á lọ gbé fún mọ́mì wọ́n á fi ṣe gàrí pẹ̀lú àlè tó ń dá. Gbogbo ìgbà tá a túká yìí náà láṣìírí gbogbo ẹ̀ tú sí mi lọ́wọ́.
The plot keeps getting thicker. So in all of this, it's not that the man's farm was not really producing, but because he has someone else by the side, that is the woman that is getting everything that is harvesting from his farm. So it's not like the farm was not really doing well, but he had a woman by the side, which he was actually taking care of. She said she wasn't even aware of this until after they had separated. That's when she now knew that there has been another woman on the scene who the man has actually been taking care of. Okay. And this is the final clip. When I heard this part, my heart jumped. When I heard that part, when I listened to it, my heart jumped. This ex of hers leaves her, that we are supposed to call the woman of his youth, because at least, she was in college, she was young, 3 children, leaves her, and is actually with someone that has 7 children from a previous marriage. So that's why this man has not been taking care of her, taking care of the children, caring for a woman that has 7 children from a previous relationship and her children. So that's where all his money, all his effort, all his affection, that's probably where it's going. A woman with 7 children from a previous marriage.
Flower. Ọlọ́run ṣàṣe wọ́n méjì sí owó. Bí mo ṣe ń bá yí náà ni wọn ayé. Ìgbà tó wá yá mo rí wípé ìlàjì oúnjẹ tá à ń jẹ gan inú tí mò ń tàyè náà láti mú. A ní yá mi lówó màá yá.
Oh, and let me mention, even though I said this earlier, she swears that even though this man is not in her presence at this minute, God bears her witness that all of this that she says she went through in his hand, she's not fabricating. She has mentioned that twice now. That's just to support her point that, she's not lying on him. Like, God bears that witness, Let's go. And then on top of that, he would borrow money from her because, like she said, her business is thriving. And she said all of the money that he has borrowed till today, he has not returned a cent. Don't forget, before you judge her, that's why are you being foolish, my gender, don't forget that she said the reason why she hanged in there is because she still wanted a father figure, a father role for her children. She didn't want to be a single parent. She didn't want to be a mom and a dad at the same time. And then so that she will not be wrong again, she will not be judged by her family again, because don't forget her family members abandoned her for 10 good years until she fell into, crisis mode before they accepted her back. So she probably didn't want to be judged by the family again, that shame on you. Look at the man that you lowered your standard for. You couldn't complete your education for and all of that. So because of that, that's why she stayed put. So on top of that, he was financially abusing her again, not just only physical, also financially abusing her, because all the money he borrowed, he never returned, on top of not taking care of his children. So this is the last clip. This is the last note.
Àwọn baby bath ìgbà tá a sì ń ta baby bath ní 1,700 naira. Ọlọ́rọ̀ tí mò ń sọ yìí o. Nígbà tí ẹrù ọmọ sì níyì, tówó sì níyì nígbà tí mò ń sọ yìí, ṣọ́ọ̀bù mi kún mi.
All of this she's just using to buttress her points that her business is flourishing, that she went into selling newborn care products since when the bath used to be 1,500. I have no idea how much newborn bath cost now. But I'm sure it's way more than 1,500. She says she's been in that business since it used to be 1,500 naira. So that's true. All of this she's just using to support the point that she's comfortable and she's not looking for a man to take care of her. She's not looking for a man to take care of her children. It's just because her family and her father is saying she needs to be under the roof of a man for her to have their affection. We're almost done. Probably just like a minute left.
Black market. Àwọn tó ń ta petrol àti diesel. Èmi máa kí máa tà wájú ṣọ́ọ̀bù mi náà pé màá tà irú àwọn tó máa ń lọ torí ìlú yẹn kì í ṣe city but normal. Kára sọ pé abúlé but wọ́n tún ń ṣe ibi tó luko náà tó yẹn torí títì ń gbabẹ̀ kọjá dáadáa. So bí mo ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní ta epo nìyẹn. Mama ta beto ìgbà tí mo bẹ̀rẹ̀ epo títà beto títà mo ń ta ìgbà yẹn là ń ta epo 1 litre 150 nígbà tí mo sọ yìí nígbà tí mo bẹ̀rẹ̀ epo títà 150 ni mo ta. À ń ta ọ́ìlì àwọn tó máa ń fi máṣíìnì míìzì ọ́ìlì 1 litre à ń ta ọ́ìlì 20 naira à ń ta ọ́ìlì 50 naira ètò ti di nǹkan mi yìí ń sìn nígbà yẹn. Níbi ọ́ìlì yìí àti bẹtró yìí Ọlọ́run wá gbé bí ó ṣe ń ṣe dé fún mi. Kẹ́gì 30 litres yẹn kẹ́gì yẹ́lò yẹn. Èrò wọn á rò bí wọ́n yá mo ṣògùn owó ni àbí mo ṣògùn ajé mi kúkú ṣe Ọlọ́run mà ló fi.
So she continues to explain further that God has been so kind, so gracious to her that some people even thought she did voodoo for money. But it's not that she did any voodoo for money. She's just very enterprising. She's very industrious. Like she said earlier, she's into everything. She said she started selling diesel, petrol and all of that. She used to sell initially in small bottles and then later she started buying and selling in big. In short, she's doing well for herself financially. She can take care of herself. She can take care of her responsibilities.
Àwọn tó ń lọ sóko wọn máa dúró sọ́dọ̀ mi. Wọ́n á páàkì máṣíìnì onímọ́tò ọ̀dọ̀ mi ló ti máa rí epo. Èèyàn kan wá ní ìtí mo ti ń ta irú ọjà tó tó yìí pé mi ṣe bọ́ sí títì kí n dúró sẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ títì so that àwọn táǹkà tó máa ń ta tó máa ń já epo diesel kọ̀ọ̀kan wọ̀nyẹn kí ó kúkú máa gba ọjà ní ọwọ́ wọn direct tí bá ti ń gbà direct pé a tún pè mí ju pé mo máa lọ rà lọ pé ó máa pè mí.
Okay, so that is the last of it. That is the last of it. Let me recap again. So I want to believe she's a middle-aged woman. She has 3 children. While she was in college, she met a man that she thought was suitable, not knowing that, not knowing how to read and write, not being educated is not the problem with the man. It just sounds like he's not a good person. I'm not trying to pass judgment. I've only heard from one person, but she's the one that we have heard from. So she gets into this relationship, she conceives, she gets pregnant, her family members, abandon her. Her father disowns her for 10 good years, She's been by herself. She's not been lucky in that relationship. The man has not been nice, he's not been kind, he's not been helpful, he's not been responsible for her, for his children. But she happens to be hardworking. She wasn't lucky with the family of the husband as well, because she's thriving. They interpreted that she's using voodoo to collect the man's destiny, So it's been a rough journey. By the man's self, he left her with her 3 children. And according to what she says, she's still doing okay financially. But because the depression was too much, she had to go back home. But now that she's home, she's in a different kind of dilemma again. Because now the father is saying, if you won't get married, I don't even mind leaving this town for you from shame. That's how bad it is. So that's the summary of her situation. That's the summary. So Eshongoni Mao, Eshongoni, thank you so much for starting us off. You are our first person to send in your dilemma situation. I got another one this evening, but because your own came in first, that's why I told Shijapwe Afibere Eshongoni for trusting that we will give you the right guidance, the right advice. So from Nkoteso, Odakwe ewa open ko wunyi, but Odakwe mind. Torí mo gbọ́ ibi tẹ́ ti sọ pé tẹ́ bá rẹ́ni tó lè fẹ̀yìn pẹ̀lú àwọn ọmọ yín, so ó show pé ẹ wà completely biased against being with another person ni. Mi bá prefer kó jẹ́ pé àwọn family yín, àwọn dáàdì yín, mi bá prefer kó jẹ́ pé wọ́n fún yín nírú condition yẹn, but a gbọ́dọ̀ wà conscious of tradition, culture àti tradition àwọn tá à ń deal with yìí. Ní side ibi tẹ́ júwe yẹn, tòótọ́ tóbìnrin ò bá sí ní abẹ́ ọkùnrin, kò ládé lórí, kò sí yìí fún iyekíye tí ò bá ní. So èmi ò fẹ́ dáadáa dì yín lẹ́bi rárá, because bí ó ṣe yí àwọn ọmọ làwọn ṣe fún yín ní condition yẹn. So mi dáadáa dì yín lẹ́bi rárá. Tó bá jẹ́ pé ọkàn yín ò sí ń bẹ̀ rárá àtọ́ màá ní at the end of the day, ẹ̀yin lẹ ní life yín, ẹ̀yin lẹ dẹ̀ máa gbé ìgbésí ayé yín. But ẹ̀yin náà sọ pé tẹ́ bá rẹ́ni tó lè fẹ́ yín, tó dẹ̀ lè fẹ́ yín mọ́ àwọn ọmọ yín, tilẹ̀kùn yẹn pa pátápátá at all. So at the end of the day, ẹ lè manufacture ọkọ fúnra yín náà. Èèyàn kan náà máa ń láti yọjú náà ni, torí ẹ̀yin kọ́ lẹ máa manufacture ọkọ fúnra yín. Wọ́n ti ní kẹ́ lọ wọ́kọ, wọ́n ti ní tẹ́ bá lọ wọ́kọ, wọn ní fi yín lọ́kàn balẹ̀. Ẹ̀yin náà sọ fún wọn pé máa wọ́kọ, àbí Ọlọ́run á ṣe èyí tó dáa, Ọlọ́run á ṣe ta lálùbáríkà láìpẹ́ láì jìnnà. Ẹ̀yin fi wọ́n lọ́kàn balẹ̀, but ẹ má lo wa standard yín o. Inú mi dùn pé kàwé dáadáa, so even though òyìnbó lè pọ̀ nínú ọ̀rọ̀ tí mò ń sọ, ẹ má lo wa standard yín. Ẹ má bẹ̀ láti inú fry pan, ẹ má bẹ̀ sínú fire. Tí Ọlọ́run bá pèsè, fine. Tí ò bá wá, ẹ má sọ wípé torí pé bàbá yín sọ pé àwọn máa kàn yín lọ́mọ, torí ẹ tún wá máa bọ́ sí ọwọ́ oníbàràǹdà bírú èyí tẹ́ kọ́kọ́ bọ́ sí lálákọ̀ọ́kọ́ yẹn. Ẹ má ṣe wàdùwàdù, ẹ farabalẹ̀. Ọlọ́run tó ti ń prosper yín, ó máa continue láti máa prosper yín. Ọwọ́ yín máa lòkè sí, ẹ ní já wá sílẹ̀ rárá. Ẹ má ṣẹ̀tù. Ọdún mẹ́wàá tí àwọn family yín kú fi kọ̀ yín, mo mọ̀ pé kò easy to stand alone without a support system. But ẹ kú, ṣé bí inú gbogbo ẹ̀ náà lẹ ní business oríṣiríṣi, inú gbogbo bọ́n ṣe kàn yín yẹn náà lẹ nílẹ̀ 3 débi pé ẹ̀yin gan tún fi kan tọrọ fún church. Inú ẹ̀ náà lẹ́yìn náà ń kọ́ lẹ́yìn lọ. Ọlọ́run á dẹ̀ bá yín parí lẹ́yìn ní ayọ̀ àtàláfíà. Ara rẹ̀ náà lẹ́dẹ̀ máa fi gbé ilé yẹn. So bẹ́mi ṣe interpret lọ́dọ̀ ti tèmi nìyẹn. Tó bá jẹ́ pé ẹ sọ pé ẹ wà open rárá, mo máa sọ fún pé tó everybody have their life to live. You have your life to live and you are only living your life by yourself. Tí gbogbo abá tẹ́ bed, ara wa la máa fi sùn lórí bed yẹn, kì í ṣe bàbá àbí ìyá àbí anybody àbí family àbárà àdúgbò ni ó máa bá yàn sùn lé orí bed yẹn. So tẹ́ bá jẹ́ kí pressure wọn, tẹ́ bá jẹ́ kó ti lọ wò yín lára jù, tẹ́ wá lọ ṣe torí ẹ̀, tẹ́ wá tún lọ bọ́ sí ọwọ́ another wrong person, kò ní dá. Ó mì pé gbogbo ìyà tẹ́ jẹ fún 10 years pẹ̀lú ex yẹn, ó mì pé bí ìgbà tẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ gbọ́n kankan nìyẹn. So ẹ má jẹ́ kí anybody kó pressurize yín. Tí Ọlọ́run bá pèsè, gẹ́gẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe sọ o ẹni tó máa fẹ́ yín tó máa fẹ́ mọ yín tẹ́ máa farabalẹ̀ tẹ́ máa mọ̀ pé eléyìí kì í ṣe pé bóyá nǹkan tí mo ní ló ń fẹjú mọ́ àbí ẹni tó náà kàn tó tún máa kó sínú àjàgà tó tún máa move síwájú ni ẹ má tara bọ̀ Ọlọ́run á dúró tì yín Ọlọ́run á kún yín Ọlọ́run á ṣe ọ̀nà yín á ṣe nírọ̀rùn. So for our viewers and our listeners that don't understand what I've just said, I've given out my own 2 cents. I choose to refrain from judging the father because, like I said, our behavior is informed by so many aspects of our life. So many things come together to, decide our worldview. So I'm not going to judge the father for giving her the condition that she has to, remarry for them to fully accept her. And also, when I was reading the voice notes, there was a place where she said even if she's going to settle down, it has to be somebody that is willing to be nice and kind and to accept her children and take them like her own. So that means she's not completely opposed to the idea of remarrying, even though it's not the first thing on her plate, it's not really what she wants, but she's not completely opposed to it. So going from that angle, that's why I said, okay, that's fine. If someone comes along, good for you. That you've been badly beaten in one relationship does not mean you can't find love again. That one man has not treated you right does not mean you have to close the door on love. That is my own, perspective. That is my own outlook on it. But I have cautioned her that she should be wary, of jumping from fire pan to fire. She should not bow to pressure. She should not bow to pressure from family. So that her father is giving her condition, her family members are giving her condition, it's not enough reason to just jump onto the next man that comes along, because the next man that comes along may not even have good intention. So that's why she has to take her time. She's comfortable, she's financially comfortable. That could be a motive, that could be a reason. Some men just want to, do what they want to do and keep moving. That's not where she wants to find herself again, because what if she gets pregnant again, So once beaten is supposed to be twice shy. So I'm not saying she should close the door, on love for forever, but she should pace herself. She should be prayerful about it. She should be, which word should I use? She should be very, very reflective. She should ponder. She should think. She should study. She should not be in a hurry. Not just for the sake of, I don't want to lose my family's affection. After all, for the 10 years that the family did not support her, she may be unhappy, but she was okay. She was able to feed herself. She was able to put her children in private school. She was able to buy 3 land to the point where she could even give 1 plot to her church. So that means if for 10 years she could be okay, I'm sorry, she could be okay for life. She could be. But since she herself is not ready to close the door on love, I'm not going to say she should close the door on love. And like I said, that we have been unlucky once does not mean that we cannot be lucky again. So that is my 2 cents for our first dilemma situation. Once again, ma'am, I don't know your name, I don't know you, but I say thank you to you. I want to believe that you are probably either logged on or you're going to come and watch later when this is extracted and pasted as a post to see how people have advised you. But I just want to say thank you so much for trusting us with your situation. Oh my God, I'm not going to do my live shows here again. These insects are not allowing me to have fun at all. That's it. It's my first time. If I didn't try it here, I won't know it's this bad. But I'm not coming back to this spot again. I'm finding another spot for myself. So this is our very, very pilot episode. Is like our test run. I thank everybody that's logged on with me. I thank you for your time. I thank you, for staying with us from the beginning all through the 5 clips. I thank you so much. I will be expecting you to kindly join us in advising our first dilemma situation. It's about a lady that was not lucky in love. She is content to be by herself, but her family is not letting her be. She's not looking for a man for money or for anything. She just wants to fulfill, family obligation or requirements. So once again, I thank you so much. It's your Queen Teefah on Human Affairs with Queen Teefah. Thank you so much. Have yourself a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful night. And